Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Ron Mars. You are listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Mine. Hello, kids, and welcome back to Sector 2814, the Orange Lantern and whatever hell else is coming up this episode podcast. I am Phil, joining me, as always, the master of this confusion. It is.
I am Will. Hey, everyone.
That's right, kids. You threatened it. It's here, part 1 of Threshold. So,
and I think we've about reached one, haven't we?
Oh, yes. Kids, to your right, you will find bags for your projectile vomiting.
Yes, indeed. Indeed.
But I got a new issue this week. But before we get that, you know what we forgot to talk about last week?
No.
The announcement of My Adventures with Green Lantern, the animated series.
Yeah, which is going to have Jessica Cruz in it. That's right. Yeah, that's going to be really cool.
And it's going to take place, I think they said, in the same universe as the My Adventures of Superman cartoon. So
nice. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
I need to check that one out. I haven't watched that one yet. I should do that.
No, it's good. I mean, they're all like on the younger side, but yeah, no, it's good. And I wonder if we're going to get any crossovers, but yeah, we're going to get some animated Green Lantern again.
Sweet. I mean, hopefully it will compare favorably, but it's got a big big comparison against the animated series, which was just absolutely amazing. Thank you, Green Lantern movie, for getting that canceled.
Mm-hmm. Wait a second. That can't be right? I'm saying February. No, that can't be. Unless that's an old release. But yeah, I was saying like the last week of February 2025. Nah, that can't be. They had to push that back. I was gonna say, let's just jump on the Max app and see. Make sure.
Yeah.
Oh, what a shock. They probably pushed something Green Lantern back.
Wait, that happens?
Yes.
This is my shocked face.
Exactly. Yes, kids, for those of you who can't see us, that is his shocked face. And his hungry face.
And my I can't believe we're here again face.
Yeah, I think we're going to get that face most of the year here. Yeah, I don't think it's on the app, so yeah, I don't think it's out yet. So yeah, probably any day now, kids, just like we've been saying with Lanterns. Probably every day.
Any day now. We've been saying that for 2 years now.
Kids. I think someone was getting confused with Lanterns, but that's not even out yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the announcement. But yeah, I mean, not a lot yet. Like Will was saying, My Adventures with Green Lantern will follow high school student Jessica Cruz, who has her life upended when a Green Lantern power ring falls from the sky and chooses Cruz to be its champion.
Cool.
Someone's going to fall from space.
Wonder if they'll play on her, having to deal with anxiety or anything like that. Because I think that's one of the things that makes her really interesting as a Green Lantern.
Oh, yes. According to CBR, there's no release window yet, so.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
For some reason, they probably won't do this. I don't think they like doing this, but what if they just did? Well, it's probably, I don't know if it'll be ready by then, but they release Lanterns and this animated series at the same time.
They could. I mean, it would be kind of a marketing thing. We're spinning up Green Lantern stuff, so we're going to have a big launch for multiple projects. But
I don't think Max does that. I don't think Disney Plus does that. I don't think they like having two things on at the same time.
Well, and we're getting kind of a soft launch of Green Lantern with the Superman movie coming out in July, right? Because we've got Guy Gardner.
Yep. So stay tuned for that, kids. All right, and like I said, I got this past Wednesday. I got Green Lantern Corps number 2.
Nice.
I don't know how much I want to spoil this for you. Maybe I should just list some of the our old buddies we see in this issue. People such as
Woman.
Yes, but we saw her last time. But I'm thinking more of this angry fellow here, Atrocitus.
Ooh,
Dexter.
Of course. I mean, you've got to have Dexter.
I couldn't remember if we did this in the first issue, but Razor is now a Green Lantern.
Yeah, we saw that, I think, in the last issue.
Yeah.
That would be kind of... I feel like there's a lot of stuff happened after they took care of the whole Civil Corps stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, everybody has good rings. I don't know how fast the old thing was making rings, but, it looked like it was 5 or 6 at a time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did everybody get good rings? Where did everybody come from? Did they get new lanterns? Are they sending out rings? The Guardians are apparently Guardians for different parts of the spectrum now. I mean, there's
we need answers.
Yes. We want some answers.
So yeah, we got all those. Oh yeah, because the Red Lanterns mostly don't have their energy, but yes, Atrocitus is basically somehow extracting red energy from one of his Red Lanterns, which I'll keep that a secret.
Okay.
Yeah, we see Zillia Sox, we see Bleeze. So yeah, so the old crew, most of the old crew's here in this issue.
Well, that's cool.
Get a nice Atrocitus battle against John Stewart and Hawkgirl.
I really feel like that they should be very, very careful with Atrocitus. We're talking a being that is at least 1 billion years old, if not more, right? Maybe multiple billions of years at this point.
Just kick his walker away from him.
Yeah. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But, honestly, I don't feel like, we were talking Red Lanterns. As much as I like Red Lanterns, Guy beating Atrocitus so easily just didn't seem quite right,
Oh, William, there's a completely logical explanation for that.
Do you have the drop?
No, I am the drop. New 52.
52. Yeah, New 52. And I'll be honest. I think Threshold is definitely a part of that New 52.
Oh yeah. Again, no synopses. Surprise. So if we want to talk like the main story as a whole and then the Larfleeze stuff as a whole, we can.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
So yeah, we're covering the first 4 issues of Threshold, kids. So this fun continues next week.
So this takes us back to the annual. Was it Green Lantern Corps?
Green Lantern New Guardians, I think.
New Guardians annual. Okay, where Carol Ferris as a Star Sapphire was being hunted on this Tolerance, the name of the planet, and everybody hunts whoever's a danger to the leader, whoever she is. I can't even remember her name at this point. So we've got the Green Lantern who has the ring embedded in his chest, which I still think is just goofy, but whatever. Which doesn't have a charge, so okay. And he's being hunted, and he runs into different characters that are coming together, right?
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, I feel bad for poor Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew.
Yes.
They got the New 52 treatment. They got it.
Well, I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't get it till now, but the bunny character kind of hit me over the head with it. You know what we're ripping off here, right? In the main story, and not
No.
well.
Go for it.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
You're right. I can see that now. Yeah. Okay.
See,
and this is
it took me a while to see it, but once you see it, you cannot unsee it.
unfortunately, this is by Keith Giffen, who is Keith Giffen.
Which shocked me, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just.
Maybe he suffers from the same problem. Like I think a lot of the creators suffered. Like there were things they did not like working in certain restrictions or other or orders they were given under New 52 that they did not like. So perhaps that was part of the problem.
Well, and it's cool that he brought in Blue Beetle.
Yes,
which is cool. That whole.
I feel like Blue Beetle, and then like towards the end of this first part, like Brainiac shows up. I feel like those were almost like not as organic as you think. It's more like, oh hey, buy this book. Blue Beetle shows up. Oh hey, buy this book. Brainiac shows up.
Brainiac shows up. Yeah, that's the whole reach and how powerful they are, such that a Green Lantern has to be worried about them. It just never clicked for me. That just doesn't seem.
Yeah.
And then the reach destroying the Blue Lantern homeworld, Odom.
Oh, yeah.
In like 5 seconds flat. I mean.
Well, also, too, the reach, I mean, especially when it comes to like Blue Beetle, is this DC's version of symbiotes?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, when you get right down to it.
So, again, I don't know if there's anything, well, except for the Larfleeze stuff. Is there anything about this book that's original?
The Larfleeze stuff. And we were chatting about this before the.
Yes.
Larfleeze ring stays charged at 1,000%. Is that right? I think, or 100,000%. It's some stupid high number, right? And
well, the way they said it in the one issue, didn't it seem like he had like a 24-hour charge or something?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what? Where is that coming from? Your ring's gonna run out of charge?
Yeah. When have we had a 24-hour charge ever? Or, since God before Kyle.
Yeah, that was the last time. Was before Emerald Twilight. Yeah, so. Mm-hmm. Even if he didn't have his battery, his ring's going to have a charge for, a long time, because Green Lanterns get by with 100% charge for a long time, right? So,
yeah.
I don't know. They just make him, I mean, granted, he's not a genius, but he is mainlining one of the no longer in existence, don't get me started on that story, entities, because there's nothing else. His battery is the central power battery, and his ring is always, at stupid level of charge. And he can do anything with his battery and his core, because he has his own core that are constructs. I mean, it seems so forced, and it really, I think, diminishes I'm not saying Larfleeze is grand, but the kind of the grandeur of not just him as a character, but the kind of all of the other Lantern Corps too, because they don't. Again, a Green Lantern protects an entire sector, which is effectively infinite, and is one of the most powerful entities in existence because they're able to do that to a certain extent, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like New 52 is kind of a gross depowering of a lot of the Green Lantern stuff, especially the Lights Out arc, which we just finished.
Yeah. and like the thing with Larfleeze, like it was cute before, like, he didn't get certain concepts like sharing and, things like that. But in this story, I mean, it just seems like he can't grasp a lot of basic concepts, and it's just like.
Well, and, I don't want to get too crazy here, but Larfleeze is also a mass murderer, right? Oh, yeah. And hey, maybe it's just me, but typically mass murderers aren't, sources of comedic, fun, right?
Yeah, I know.
So the main story doesn't work for me on a lot of reasons, because it New 52s, and we're going to use that as a word, as a verb now. Those characters got New 52'd. Okay?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, right in the lantern. Yeah.
So, I mean, first off, let me back up a little bit. I think that the main story is well executed, right? The art is good. I think the writing is okay. But what it does to those characters, I mean, Tommy Tomorrow, okay, we're talking Space Ranger. We've got Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew. They got New 52, dude.
Yeah. And I almost feel like it's like, I mean, look how many like how New 52, like a lot of popular characters were, like your like your whole Justice League and like all the big well-known guys like Batman, my favorite character. And it's like, so yeah, for characters who maybe aren't household names, they're like, oh, we can go wild on these guys. We can change everything.
And they did get a little, in my opinion, they got, so again, it's well executed, but it's the main story is not something I would seek out, to be quite honest. It's just,
No.
I don't enjoy it for a lot of reasons. I mean, I know it's Keith Giffen, and I know Keith Giffen is an excellent creator, but, and the art is good. It's just that I didn't enjoy the annual that this springs out of, and I didn't enjoy this either. You know, but if you did, more power to you, because
yes,
find the stuff you love.
So would you say, and again, it's a low bar, but the Larfleeze story is better than the the Hunted story or whatever?
Yeah, the Hunted story just seems so bleak.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And
the whole bit like almost like reality TV theme of it's just like, ugh.
You know, and
it's almost like,
you know, the
Guardians of the Galaxy meets, I don't know, do you want to say like Blade Runner maybe? Or
yeah, I mean,
that might be the other thing. They're trying to mix too many, I don't know.
Well, and with Larfleeze, we're using the characters that came out of that, the smugglers, right? That annual, because Larfleeze is going to use them to find his stuff. But, okay, Larfleeze is also a being, we were talking about Atrocitus earlier. Larfleeze is over 1 billion years old, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's learned something. I mean, he would want knowledge because he wants everything, right?
And again, they paint him pretty dumb. It's like you'd think he would learn something in 1 billion years.
Exactly. So I understand what they were trying to do. And I think that they succeeded in what they were trying to do, but I completely disagree with what they were trying to do. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So yeah, I don't know. New 52 is
New 52.
It's New 52. It really is. And I just don't. Do we have any feedback on this from anybody?
No, so
Oh, okay.
This is my shocked face. No, we don't have any feedback on this. And how did you feel about like that? I mean, it's the cliffhanger for like halfway through this the Larfleeze story. You know, we see, who I guess is kind of stealing Larfleeze's constructs and using them against them. How'd you feel about that?
How?
And again, I'd say spoilers, but I don't think anyone cares. Yes, yeah. It's Sade, I guess. Is she like, I guess, I don't know, is her heart, her soul or whatever trapped in the lantern or?
Yeah, I mean, okay. When does this story take place? Is this pre
Lights Out?
Or is it even pre Wrath of the First Lantern? Because remember, Saeed is.
Oh, yeah.
So, because remember at the end of Wrath of the First Lantern, her and Ganthet go off for.
Oh, yeah.
Happily ever after. So, does this fit in when she was supposedly killed in New Guardians, which because of the Third Army, which was not awesome?
Or is it that we don't pay attention with the stuff that happens in the New 52? So
I like that.
Happens.
Random stuff just happens, yeah.
Or unless she like left an imprint on the lantern or something, who knows?
I guess we're going to find out in the next 4 issues.
I was going to say we're only halfway through, so God help us. But yeah, so maybe it'll be someone else just pretending to be her. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, it's just bleak. I think is a really good way to describe a lot of New 52 stuff. Which makes sense because it was all caused by Dr. Manhattan and whatever that was. Speaking of, I'm going to totally go down a rabbit hole because neither you and I really want to talk about these issues, right?
That's right. There's a better rabbit, so yeah, go ahead.
So the Jeff Johns and Gary Frank miniseries, kind of the sequel to Watchmen, right? What was the name? What is the name of that?
Doomsday Clock?
Doomsday Clock, yeah. I've got the trade somewhere around here that I've not actually read the whole thing.
The books are all behind you.
No. Not that one. It's over there.
Oh,
But apparently, okay, wait, I'm going to back up a little bit. In every New 52 book, I think we talked about this before, Pandora, was that her name?
oh yeah, and like the first ones, yeah.
Yeah. She showed up in all of the first issues of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she was going to be something, whatever, right? Don't they kill her like that for Doomsday Clock?
I couldn't remember. I thought that I wasn't even sure if they killed her before or something. There was an event with her. I can't remember. God, I blocked most New 52 out, but yeah, if not before. Again, it's been a while since I read Doomsday Clock too, but they might. Again, that thing. I don't think I've read that thing since it came out. And two, that thing was so delayed too. It's just
So my understanding, and again, I have not read it, so I need to do that. It's on my list. Dr. Manhattan caused the New 52.
He like stole moments in time or something, or yeah.
And that coupled with Flashpoint led to the New 52, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then so did Doomsday, and I don't know this. Did Doomsday Clock signal kind of the end of the New 52, and then we got Rebirth right after it? Is that the way it worked?
Yeah, I believe Rebirth came after Doomsday Clock. I think it was that again. I think Doomsday Clock. There was supposed to be two things coming from that. Yeah, we're gonna kind of. They'll never say it was a reboot. They'll never say New 52 was a failure. But we started turning back. Yeah, we started Rebirth. Started turning stuff back. And two, and I don't know if it's still the case. I think they were trying to cram all the Watchmen characters in the DC proper continuity.
Oh yeah, because then they introduced Punch and Julie in the in Doomsday Clock. I think.
Oh yeah.
Charlton characters, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, okay. So thematically, Watchmen is bleak, right? It is very bleak. It's dark, and I guess it makes a certain amount of sense that the stuff that the New 52's kind of ancestor being Watchmen, and coming from Watchmen, I guess it makes a certain amount of sense that the New 52 seems fairly bleak as well. Now, I've read Batman.
Who?
Batman, my favorite character.
I read some of that. I've read, of course, Green Lantern. But there's not a lot of Green Lantern Corps. We know what happened with Green Lantern Corps. So Green Lantern Corps, Green Lantern New Guardians, and Red Lanterns. We know what happened with those books. But between that and Batman, I don't know that I read much of anything else from the New 52.
Yeah. Like a lot of things, they radically altered Superman. He was wearing he wasn't married to Lois. They didn't know the parents. They were kind of making him more of a loner, and it's just like, no Superman.
Exactly.
But, yeah, Superman was kind of, his costume was armor, because that's the character who needs armor.
Exactly. Hey, it's like putting Daredevil or Spider-Man in armor. Yay, 90s. Sorry.
Hey, Daredevil had probably the best armor in the 90s.
That's true. Yeah, I would give that. I'll give you that one. It made more sense for the Punisher, who never actually did wear armor, though. Anyway.
Not in the 90s, but...
Not in the 90s, yeah. Where are we going with this, except away from Threshold?
I don't know. I probably should save this for the end, but I was going to say, do you want to abort on the last 4 issues of Threshold and just move along the Larfleeze series proper?
No, we will overcome.
Oh my God, you're such a masochist. Oh my Lord.
I am. Give me that pain.
Completionist / masochist.
That's right. We're halfway there, man.
Yeah.
And
that always makes sense. Yes, my arm is halfway in the wood chipper. Let me shove the rest
all
of it.
The way. Yeah.
Yeah.
All the way. Absolutely.
William, I would rather read Action Comics Weekly than this.
I think I might be with you on that.
I would rather read Brightest Day than this.
I might be with you on that too. Have we found a new?
We keep finding the bottom, and then there's more bottoms to find.
There's more bottom to find.
I think Threshold is the new bottom.
Threshold. So it started with Action Comics Weekly.
Mm-hmm.
It was The Brightest Day, and then we got.
No, I think after Action Comics Weekly, weren't some of that '90s Guy Gardner stuff was the bottom.
Oh yeah, Guy Gardner. Yeah,
Brightest Day, and now we're here at Threshold.
Now we're here at Threshold. All right.
We might find more bottom. I don't know. Maybe in New 52, but I think once we clear New 52, I think there's only nowhere but to go but up. So
yeah, I think so. I mean, we've still got Godhead coming, and I think I've made my feelings about the new gods abundantly clear at this point.
The only thing that might make Threshold the bottom, though, is like at least with like Godhead and other stories. It's going to be like characters, especially Lanterns, like I recognize. And, this is like characters I'm not familiar with. I don't care about. So it's just,
and I mean, and if you care about Captain Carrot and the Zoo Crew, this ain't them. So, yeah.
Trying to make them rocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just, and again, I mean, I think another problem with New 52 is that, and I don't know if you tell me if I'm just making any kind of sense here, the universe seems to shrink. It seems to be smaller.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean that physically. It's just the stories seem to be smaller and a bit meaner, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas you had this open vista, post rebirth, this was the universe and we're out. The universe seems to, because we almost ended it because of, emotions aren't a resource that's, sustainable. What? Sorry.
Yeah. And again, like I get the whole, the universe feels smaller because again, it's for all lights, after Jeff Johns, it just seems like, oh, the core's been decimated. We're down. It seems like a handful or two of lanterns left. It's like, really? So did the first army take out thousands of lanterns or no?
Did it take out thousands of worlds? If so, the loss of life is staggering even to think about, if it actually, but we never really kind of get an answer about, hey, we saw lots of them, but we only ever saw a few thousand, right? But apparently they took over a whole world and maybe there's more than, I don't.
And because again, it's like for the new creative teams, it's like, if you only want to work with a smaller group, then tell us that. Maybe they're not sending lantern rings out or something, or something, or the other lanterns can't get to the rest of them for some reason. But we don't say that. Are they dead? Are they missing? Or they can't get to the rest of the corps?
I think that's a word I used again. I'm going to use it again. There's a certain lack of grandeur, because the universe is unimaginably large. You wouldn't have all your Green Lanterns back home. You'd have them out patrolling the universe, trying to make a difference, right? And I don't know. You know what I would like to see, Phil? I would like to see the Central Power Battery blown up again.
Oh! The best I can give you is blow up all of Oa.
Okay, dang it.
I'm just sick of keep rebuilding the core, and then within 5 or 10 years, every time we're blowing up the battery.
Yep, it's just we need a moratorium on that.
Maybe Jeremy's going to give us that, but again, give me something original that doesn't involve blowing up batteries or destroying cores. Yeah, no, I'm all for it.
Exactly. I mean, and I think that's what my hope is with Jeremy Adams, is that he's going to get us to a place where all of the cores exist.
Yes.
Because I think that's a much more interesting universe.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll bring us back to Jeff Johns levels. Yeah.
Well, and Jeff Johns basically got them all created and then immediately started destroying them.
Yep.
We never really got that War of Light, the War of Light's coming. And, sure, the Green Lanterns and the Sinestro Corps went at it, but there was never really this free-for-all of all the corps going at it, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Besides green, red, and yellow, I mean, how much of a lot of those? I mean, well, of course, the blue lanterns aren't going to war on anybody, but I mean, how much has the rest of this corps done?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been thinking about this, and I'm curious your take on it, but I really think that Green Lantern really peaked with Blackest Night.
Yeah.
I mean, War of the Green Lanterns was still good, because it was the next thing that came out. But
But at that point, I think we were kind of winding stuff down a little bit. New 52 was coming.
Yeah, I mean, I think Rebirth started out, high. The book kept that level, and then with, the Sinestro Corps War, boom, it raised everything. The quality level increased drastically. And then they were on a really great trajectory, just, every storyline being, kind of better than the last one.
Mm-hmm.
When we hit Blackest Night. And then once Blackest Night hit and was finished, I think we started going down. I mean, the quality was still up there.
Mm-hmm.
War of the Green Lanterns was good. And then New 52, it kind of dropped off pretty quickly, I feel like, because of the New 52.
Yeah, and I think everything like around Blackest Night and stuff, Jeff Johns, even if he wasn't writing every book, he was like kind of the architect. He had an idea, how the universe was supposed to be and everything. And then I think maybe, I don't know if it was before New 52, might have been, just exact after Blackest Night, but definitely by New 52, everyone started doing their own little things in their books. And then it was like, oh, here, okay, run, okay, stop what you're doing. Everyone rush over here, do a crossover.
Yeah.
Even if we don't have it isn't narratively makes sense. Yeah, just do it and then we'll jump back.
All right. So I have a potentially stupid question for you because I excel at asking those.
This is the place.
Can you name anything in the New 52
No.
that was worth the New 52?
No.
And I have something that might be worth it.
I mean, you mean Green Lantern or anything?
I mean anything.
I
think you know where I'm going if I say anything.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, before they overused them, I think I know Scott Snyder invented the Court of Owls first thing in Batman,
Exactly. I mean, that was, I'm trying to think of, I'm hoping that the Red Lantern run that we're about to really kind of get into makes, is one of those runs that makes it almost worth it. I don't know that anything is really worth it. The only thing I think comes close is maybe the Batman stuff with Snyder and Capullo.
Yeah.
But again, it hit a peak and it also, started, a drop before, they finally left. So
Batman, my favorite character.
I mean, and the sad thing is we had Jim Lee and Jeff Johns on Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't awesome.
Yeah. From what I can remember, some of the when we get Jessica here finally, her first appearances, it might be, I think it's a little more tolerable than that first Justice League arc we did and stuff. So,
yeah.
But again, it's been years since I read it. But
so halfway through the New 52, and we've got maybe a couple arcs of Batman, and we're hoping that Red Lanterns will be that next.
Wow.
Maybe.
Wow. Lots of Batman talk tonight.
Oh, baby.
I know.
Oh, baby. Nothing better than Full Player.
I don't know.
I hear you, Will.
New 52, the
kick to the groin that keeps on giving, huh?
keeps on kicking, I mean, and you would think that this would be the best time for Green Lantern. There are literally 4 books a month coming out. If you like Hal, boom, he's in Green Lantern. If you like Kyle, Green Lantern New Guardians. If you like the Corps, you get John and Guy there. Well, and now you get John there and you get Guy in the Red Lanterns book.
Mm-hmm.
So you would think this would be the best time, but unfortunately the stories aren't meeting the moment, I feel like.
Do you think, were they kind of getting greedy at this point? Should they have kept the 4 books or maybe just have done 2 books and focused more on the 2 books?
I don't know. That's a lot of armchair quarterbacking from 10 years ago at this point.
Maybe 2 books, maybe 3, but maybe written by the same person, or at least one person overseeing them all who had like a grand vision, kind of like Jeff Johns did.
I think that would have been better. I mean, ultimately, I don't think they've known what to do with Kyle from the beginning of the New 52.
Yeah. Especially because I don't think we even know the history. It's like, did Emerald Twilight happen like it did before?
Now, the core book, though, took a pretty drastic turn with New 52 as well. And it's rare that we get to see a lot of those characters that we came to, know and love, from the Green Lantern core run pre-New 52. So, I don't know. I still think 4 books could have worked. But, someone needed to be overseeing all of them. I think you're right. Let's make this fit. Let's make this feel like a universe, and let's, not just willy-nilly throw them into new storylines when they're trying to do something else.
Thinking about it, I don't know if people were just scared because they didn't know what else was going on in other books, or if it was just, well, again, it's like no one has like one vision. Everyone's off doing their own thing. And
they wanted an instant universe.
Oh yeah,
DC took a long time to build their universe. It took organically decades, and then Crisis really came around and messed all that stuff up. And then they started rebuilding after Crisis.
Yeah. Well,
then they got 0 Hour. Yeah.
Well, they kind of got greedy. Name me a franchise. There was all the same. They wanted a new universe, but again, look how many decades it took to introduce characters. They wanted a brand new universe, only 5 years old. But meanwhile, Batman is every Robin. All the Green Lanterns are here.
Yeah.
It was like, Harley Quinn's already here, been here for a while. So it's just like they wanted a new universe, but they wanted every character who's come along in the last how many decades.
Exactly. Yeah. It was just, and honestly, New 52 could have worked.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't impossible with some planning and patience and, sticking to that plan. You don't have everybody day one, right? So yeah, how did the Justice Society even fit into the New 52?
At first they weren't there at all. Then they kind of made like a new Earth 2 where they were all like young, but yeah, they actually did an Earth 2 again. Yeah.
Okay.
Until Doomsday Clock.
Gotcha. So, okay, let me ask you this. DC Metal and Death Metal. I don't think they're called Batman. I think they're called Metal.
I think it's Dark Knights.
Dark Knight Metal. Yeah, and then Dark Knight Death Metal was the sequel.
I believe so. Yes.
Those really kind of, as bookends, reintroduced the whole multiverse and everything, right? Is that?
Oh, they brought it back bigger than ever because it's like, it pretty much destroyed the multiverse. Not only brought it back, but then reveals that no, there's a greater, bigger omniverse that all these multiverses are in.
Quasar. Sorry, did I say that?
Exactly.
Right here, guys. Right here. Right there.
They pretty much, just blew up the idea of the multiverse and made, multiple multiverses in this omniverse. Because meanwhile, then it's like, everything happens and, we can pull anything from here.
Huh.
Now, you know what Lilith says? Just knock everything down and start back in the Silver Age. That's it. Just
take us back to pre-crisis.
And again, maybe you save a few things, like Superman's marriage, maybe, any lantern we've introduced, after Crisis. But besides that, go back to Silver Age storytelling.
I don't know. I think I understand Lilith's viewpoint, but I think I probably fall more in line with Jeremy Adams and, hey, let's try to make this all work. Right.
Well, who's kind of doing it, kind of keeping the stories timeless. You've been reading Batman, Superman, World's Finest by Mark Waid, right?
Mark Waid, yep.
Yeah. It's supposedly set in the past, but an
indeterminate past.
Yeah, you do something like that. Yeah.
Well, and you look at Untold Tales of Spider-Man by Kurt Busiek and Pat Olis.
Yes. Oh, I love that series.
That was firmly set in the past.
Oh yeah, but I mean, if they go by your example, they planned that out
Exactly. Yeah,
because they
absolutely.
I think at the end of one issue they had a chart. They're like, okay, this one falls in between these two issues. This one falls-
Hmm. But you have to. Can't believe I'm saying this. You have to have a respect for those stories and that continuity to do that, right? And I don't feel like that the editorial or business drivers of New 52 really had that respect for the stories or characters.
Yeah, no. Everything I've heard, New 52 was not planned out well. It's basically like, okay, here's your starting point, go.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool. So awesome.
it's basically
Batman
like here's your founding Justice League, and Whatever, go.
Batman could not steal Green Lantern's ring off his finger. That just annoys me so much.
Well, at least they didn't trap him in a room painted all yellow like
Oh God, yeah,
like Frank Miller.
Your mother's a whore.
That's right. The writing style, Mr. Frank Miller.
Your mother's a whore.
Yay, New 52. All right.
That's another thing Lil says. She's like, you read like Frank Miller stuff as a kid and you're like, oh, this is pretty badass. Then she says, your frontal lobe develops and everything. And then you're just like, ooh.
I'm a bit torn because so in my mind, we're going to go way off on a tangent here. So, all right, young ones, here we go. In my mind, there was this golden age in the early to mid 80s at Marvel. Because you had John Byrne on Fantastic Four.
Yes.
Burn.
You had Frank Miller on Daredevil.
Mm-hmm.
You had Walter Simonson on Thor. You had Chris Claremont on X-Men with amazing artists. John Romita Jr. when he was just starting out, kind of. You had Paul Smith. You had, of course,
Lee.
John Byrne. Jim Lee came a little bit later.
But yeah.
I mean, those books are, foundational books for a lot of people. I mean,
Roger Stern on Amazing Spider-Man.
Right, Roger Stern on Spider-Man. Roger Stern and John Buscema on the Avengers. I mean, that's my jam right there, okay? Mm-hmm. And then in the late 80s, probably my favorite book of all time, Quasar. Mark Grunwald, Paul Ryan, Greg Capullo, Mike Manley, Steve Lytle. I mean, the artists on the book, awesome. And then the 90s happened. But I mean, you had these what I call unicorn creators that you don't see a lot of anymore. I mean, you have Mike Mignola on Hellboy, he's one, but you had artists that, top tier artists that were also pretty top tier writers as well. They were able to do both things and create some books that.
Oh, there's books where Byrne pretty much did everything.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he probably flipped the switch on the printing press,
Took it to the newsstand.
Exactly. Hand delivered it to you. Would you like me to read it to you too? But I mean, that period was this, golden age for corporate, I guess, comics. DC a little bit earlier than that. I mean, you had Marv Wolfman and George Perez on Teen Titans, which find some young person the next time you go to a comic shop and say, "Hey there, young one. Did you know that Teen Titans used to outsell Uncanny X-Men?"
Oh yeah, that was the big war for a while there. X-Men and Teen Titans, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy because now Teen Titans has, it's definitely not as popular as it was in the early '80s, but I think, if you look at that now outside of, the Marvel DC, the mainstream, even early Dark Horse stuff. But, I mean, a lot of the indie books, I mean, there was a lot of experimentation going on. And I think that fed into these big name creators because they were plugged into everything and they brought, their influences in too. So it was this wonderful period. I mean, we still get that today. I mean, the indie comics community, influences some of the corporate comics. It's kind of I feel like it's a slower influence now because editorial control of these franchises, they're not comics
I think
anymore.
the big companies are kind of the problem. I think they're afraid to take chances anymore. I mean, me and Lil talk to DG Chichester every month. I mean, we've talked to him many times about like the Epic line at Marvel back in the day. And
Well, yeah, I mean, you look at, Daredevil was about to be canceled. Hey, let's give it to this young kid, Frank Miller. Okay, and boom,
exactly.
there you go. We're about to.
I mean, DC in the 70s, they were going to cancel Detective Comics.
Yeah, exactly, but they didn't. Thank goodness. So, I don't know where really this is going, but.
Well, I mean, like you pointed out, again, the big corporations got involved, and now then you got to worry about synergy with the movies and stuff, which they shouldn't even worry about that. They don't give creators time anymore. Remember when you get writers on a book for like 5-10 years? You don't get that now. If you get like a year, maybe 2, that's it. Well,
yeah, actually, and I remember we were talking about this giant thread on Blue Sky where, and I can't remember the poster's name, but it's talking about Grunwald's career. And you and I are both, we worship at the Grunwald altar together.
10 years on Captain America.
10 years. I mean, that is insane.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think the closest thing that has come to that would be, because Simon, Lee and Kirby were on Fantastic Four for, what was it, 102 issues?
Something
together?
like that, yeah.
And I'm going to mention a name that you're going to push a button on. But Bendis and Bagley were on Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, because didn't they break the record?
I think they.
Record?
Yeah.
Bendis.
There you go. So, but that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, you don't get that anymore. Again, you don't get the time. And the creators, they're not paying the creators. DG Chichester last year did that Daredevil Black Armor miniseries. Mm-hmm. He said the rate he got was the same rate he was getting in the 90s.
That was 30 years ago.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was only four issues, and not like his, he had a couple years on Daredevil. It was 4 issues. So.
Mm-hmm. It seems like, this is turning into old man rant, isn't it?
I could keep ranting because we talked to Chichester, we talked to Greg Ray too, who worked at Marvel back then too. He's like he said, some of the in the 90s, some of the numbers, some of the books were hitting when they got canceled. They would kill for those numbers now.
Today, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I really part of this. Because when I was young, which was of course back when dinosaurs roamed the earth and all that, I got into Avengers, post 200, right? So this is in the 80s, early 80s. I was like, well, holy crap, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Pre-internet, of course. I know, I'll go get back issues because I'm interested, right?
Yeah. I know. And big numbers never scared me. I don't know why we got to read number to a new number 1.
Exactly. Why do we have to relaunch every time we get a new creative team? Or, hey, I don't even know what volume of Avengers we're on right now. I lost interest.
Exactly.
And
they think they're going to bring in new readers with a new number 1, but it just devalues the whole, it's a new number 1.
Yeah, they keep doing it and they keep doing it, and it keeps having less and less impact, I think. So, I don't know. Get off my lawn. Sorry.
I was just trying to see if I can find. Okay, Avengers. We might be on volume 9 of Avengers, Will.
Wow.
And that doesn't count any, West Coast Avengers, Secret Avengers. No, that's just Avengers.
So volumes 2 and 3 I get, but then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 I have no idea about, and that probably doesn't include New Avengers.
Mm-mm.
So it's just it's just
gas.
New 52. Sorry.
All right. We can cut it there if you want.
Yeah, that's good. I think we've beat that dead horse even more. So, yeah.
All right, kids. Well, next time we're going to finish the second half of Threshold because Will's a son of a bitch. So, yeah.
That's right.
5 through 8.
Bring the pain. Bring the pain.
And then the 2 weeks after that, we'll split up that Larfleeze series. Hopefully that's better. Yeah, 1 through 6 and then 7 through 12.
Mm-hmm.
And then after all that, yes, we'll get back to Red Lanterns with Red Lanterns 25 through 27.
Yes. Does that start the Supergirl arc?
Can't remember. It's either that one or the one after. So
After? Okay.
I forget. Either one of those, yeah.
How are, out of curiosity, how are we kind of splitting up? I mean, we had to go kind of through each series, hey, if we're doing Green Lantern, the next one was going to be New Guard,
Mm-hmm.
Are they that closely entwined? Or are we still going to be doing that? Or are we going to do larger chunks of different series? What's your schedule look like?
Why do you want to do larger chunks?
No, I was just asking.
Let's see. Well, again, like the Larfleeze is like 6 issues each. Some of them, I mean, we're averaging between like 3 and probably 6. I mean, 6 it's rare, but yeah, we're doing like the average is probably 3 to 4 issues at a shot here, sometimes 5 or 6.
And then jumping to a different series, probably. Then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so I didn't know if we were going to do like 3 or 4 issues of Red Lanterns and then 3 or 4 more issues of Red Lanterns or something like that. But
yeah, no, I think it's going to be it's kind of almost like maybe like release schedule or
Gotcha.
Because again, we got to kiss. Once we get a crossover or something, we got to stay current.
Godhead. Sorry.
August will don't. Yeah, Godhead, Dark Side War, Future's End.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to Future's End and Convergence because I have no clue what any of that stuff means, and I'd like it explained to me like I'm a 5-year-old, please.
Oh, nice.
So you can do that for me, man.
I'll try.
You got me? Okay.
I think I'm on a 4-year-old level there now. Then, so.
I'll take 4-year-old, 3-year-old, whatever.
All right, kids.
Whatever level helps me understand it.
Cannot understand the ununderstandable.
Exactly.
All right, so
like, why doesn't Hal know the new gods? Anyway, go ahead.
Why did anybody know Martian Manhunter?
Exactly.
All right, kids, send us feedback if you dare. CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. I can't believe Will's making us do the rest of the threshold. I guess you don't like listeners. Okay. You can find pretty much everything we've done, Sector 2814, the Quantum Zone. It's all on CapesLunatics.wordpress.com. And again, you can, support us by buying merch at TeePublic in Spring, or if you want to get out of here with your life because Lilith's after you, Rain ran the money on us through the Cash App link.
Make it rain.
And of course the Patreon, where again you get exclusive uncensored content every month. And if you're a Patreon member, you get to request topics for us to discuss. Doesn't have to be comics; it can be pretty much anything. So sign up at patreon.com/CapesandLunatics.
More vicious and brutal than ever.
All right. Now for this Will Allred, master of the core, master of the quantum zone, master of comics, podcasting,
and masochist.
And sadomasochist, yes, Will Allred. And of course, don't let that stop you from picking up his Kickstarter comics, but yes, he loves inflicting pain on himself and others. All right, so Will.
Apparently I do. If you want to find me, you can find me at Wallred at Gmail. You can find me also on Blue Sky and Facebook and probably some other places that I forgot that I set stuff up. But if you'd like to read some of the comics that I write, Crossover Division is the latest book that I'm writing, and we're up to issue 5. Issue 6 should be launching soon. We're hopeful that it'll be launching by the end of the month or perhaps early April. So we'll see. Keeping my fingers crossed. If you want to check out Crossover Division, you can do that at crossoverdivision.com and check it out. It's a fun book. I have a lot of fun with it. You can check out Diary of Night, which is another book that I've written. All 4 issues of it have been collected. It's at diaryofnight.com. And obviously you've got great taste because you're here hanging out with Phil and I talking Green Lantern. So that means you probably love Marvel's Quasar almost as much as we do. And if you'd like to find out more about Quasar, you can do that at the Quantum Zone, quantumzone.org.
I blew that. Seems like I'm getting a package every other day. I am God.
Where should I store my threshold issues?
They aren't even attempting to enter our orifices.
Nice. Can't believe that was in a Marvel comic in the
Speaking
90s.
of 90s Marvel comics, yes. Back in the day, kids, we were talking orifices and stuff.
Exactly.
And he may not love the hunting, but
I, of course, love Hal Jordan.
I do.
all right, kids. Come back next time if you dare. Threshold 5, 6, 7, and 8. Because Will doesn't love me or you, so yes.
Or himself.
And then we'll get to the Larfleeze series after that. So hopefully, hopefully it's a little smarter.
I'm just hopeful, man. Maybe it's going to be worth it.
Hope alive. Sorry, you're in the new 52, pal. All right, kids, come back next time. And remember, it was so much better 30 years ago. Good night.